We do want to take you back out live, though, to the Margaret Hunt Hill Bridge, where those protesters have been detained but not taken to jail yet. Sources tell our Allison Harris that Dallas County District Attorney John Creuzot would not allow the protesters to be charged. We have also just heard from Dallas County Judge Clay Jenkins, who said protesters are going to be taken back to the courthouse where that protest originated and then allowed to leave their cars. We're monitoring all the developments in Dallas right now, where police, state troopers, National Guard have been out in that area. Fox 4's Stephen Dial has been on the ground there for the past couple hours. He joins us now. Stephen.
Blake, the story seems to be changing every 30 minutes. Right now, it's still a very active scene behind me, as you can see here on Woodall Rogers. There are still some protesters that are detained. I know we're kind of in that area issue of sources telling our Allison Harris that John Creuzot is not going to prosecute them. So we'll see how that goes. But I want you to take you back to how we got here. Basically, protesters were protesting peacefully at the courthouse building, and then they started marching down, and then made a left on Woodall Rogers. When they got on top of the bridge, when they got on the bridge, basically that's when police kind of made a choke point, and that's when protesters were arrested. Now, they were outside of that curfew boundary line, but they were on a bridge, and law enforcement moved in. The National Guard assisting troopers and DPD and the Sheriff's Office in making that arrest. We talked to Chief Renee Hall about the peaceful protests and what she thought about it. Take a listen.
I would say to them, I support them. We are all angry about what happened to Mr. Floyd. I have been the first person to stand up and condemn alongside of every police chief across this country. And we know that these are things that have happened in the past, even in the Dallas Police Department. And we're committed to the change.
Are people going to be arrested leaving the protest?
Absolutely not. We recognize that they've been here peacefully protesting and they have to get back to their cars. I guess I'm confused why the media or anyone else is making this adversarial. The Dallas Police Department has supported peaceful protests for years, and we will continue.
Now, as you see right now, probably live video at the bottom of Woodall Rogers, or you're looking at Sky 4 video of the scene there on the bridge. As of right now, Blake, law enforcement, they're leaving the bridge. The cars that are occupied right now are only occupied by officers. There are no protests inside those vehicles. Blake, still a developing story, as you mentioned, the issue with Clay Jenkins, Dallas County judge, saying that protesters are being released and safely returning to their cars. The John Creuzot information that our team has gotten through source information. And so right now, a lot of things are up in the air. And still, I mean, for the past hour and a half, about 4 protesters have been sitting in cuffs beside us.
So, Stephen, we've been watching this bus back up. Can you see that now? It looks like it's getting onto the on-ramp in reverse. Do you see that?
Yeah, everything that is coming down the ramp right now is just law enforcement. Everything is empty.
Okay,
so there are no protesters inside.
So that's what I want to ask, because obviously we had this huge crowd of people, and we still see a bunch of people, I assume, who were detained that were on the bridge, and I'm wondering if any of them are being removed, or they're just sitting there standing around. Obviously, it's one thing at the foot of the bridge where there's been some people, but I know at least on the bridge itself, I'm wondering what's happening with all those people, if they're just kind of hanging around, or if in terms of the bus that's coming down, if we're going to see anyone on this bus.
Right, and we can wait a second and look, but the last bus that came down maybe about 10 minutes ago, that bus was empty. About 15 law enforcement vehicles came down the ramp, and all of their vehicles were empty other than law enforcement being inside them. Everyone since about the 10 o'clock top of the hour that has come down this ramp, that vehicle has only been occupied by law enforcement and no one else. So I guess they're probably trying to sort out what is going on, if they're going to have the people remaining on the bridge walk down. I can see the bus is blocking the shot, but I can see 2 people walking down the other side, but that may be media, because some media members were on the bridge. But I mean, we have a little time. We could take a second to see who may be on this dark bus. But again, like I mentioned, any vehicle that has come down has been empty. Yeah,
and obviously we saw Clay Jenkins tweet that people would be brought back to the courthouse and then be allowed to go to their court cars and leave. So it's possible that if we do see people on the bus as it rounds the corner here, maybe they're just being brought back to their cars.
It's
we don't
empty.
know where they're going. What are you seeing? Empty?
Yeah, the bus is empty.
Okay. Well,
the bus is empty. I'm looking at it. So have no idea what the people on top of the bridge are doing, because the two people who are walking down, I believe they are media members. They have vests on.
Okay.